Good morning. My name is Jim Drennan. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and we're going to talk about cables today, and I brought somebody very special along, and she's going to help us with narration, and we're going to welcome Siri. All right, take it away, Siri.
Cables, cables, cables. Your studio is going to need a huge number of cables. This is a short tutorial to help you become familiar with the different types of cables and their proper usage. Before I start going through the individual cables and what they're used for, I'd like to just stress that this is not a place to go cheap. That is like the guitar player who buys a $1,500 Martin guitar and carries it around in a paper bag for protection. You really do want to get high quality cables and connectors. We musicians tend to wait till the cable stops working to check on it or replace it. Whenever there's a problem in the studio, the first thing you look for is the broken cable or a noisy cable. That's what breaks. These cables and connectors get a lot of wear. They're being plugged in and pulled out regularly, and they really are what break. So get good quality connectors and good quality cables, and they'll last you a long time. The first one and probably most important cable you're going to be using is a 1/4-inch cable, otherwise known as an instrument cable or a TS cable. So it has a 1/4-inch jack, and you're going to find that it has two segments to it. It has a tip and a sleeve, and we call this a single conductor cable. The signal is sent along this, the single conductor, and the outer sleeve is there to prevent noise from getting into the cable. There's a braided shield along the entire cable. A single conductor cable, like a TS cable here, we call it instrument cable, really is susceptible to noise. And we want to use as short a cable as possible when using this type. This is the type of connector that goes from a guitar into your microphone preamp. You often connect many pieces of gear in your studio with a cable like that. The next cable is kind of a variation on that, and it looks very similar. It's still a 1/4-inch connector. We call this a TRS cable, and that is a two-conductor cable with a shield. So we have the tip, the ring, and the sleeve. Now, this can be used in actually two different ways in the studio. The first way is a cable like this connected at the end of your headphones. And in that case it functions as if it was two of these cables kind of combined in a single package, and it's two single conductor cables with a shield around it. So in that instance, we might call it a stereo cable, in that it's just transmitting two separate signals. It still is susceptible to picking up noise. The other way a cable like this can be used is in a balanced configuration, in which you really are sending a single signal across it, but it's being done in a way that can actually cancel noise that gets into the cable. Here is an XLR cable, which is a standard mic cable. If we look at the end of an XLR cable, we see that it does have three connectors like the TRS cable did. But these are designed for microphones in that they have a nice locking feature, so when they connect to the microphone, they stay stable there. You don't have with the TRS cable, and these are not really ever used for stereo signals. They're only really used in this balanced configuration. So in general, in the studio or on stage, if you're going to have long cable runs, you'd rather use an XLR or balanced type of cable, because it will reject noise that comes into the cable along the length of the cable. Now, very often you will have to convert between the unbalanced or TS cable into a balanced or XLR or TRS cable, and a direct box is the device that allows us to go from a 1/4-inch or TS cable, and then output an XLR or balanced cable. Now, direct box is a really useful device, and something you're going to want to have, and probably have a few of in your studio. They're hugely important on stage. Now you will find a variety of other cables in your studio. The 1/8-inch stereo connector. Another common connect that you'll find is an RCA cable. RCA cables can be used in combination for video, but you'll find that they function just like a 1/4-inch cable or a TS cable, and they do have a single conductor and a shield around them. The one thing to watch out when using RCA cables is very often they use it to connect kind of home, consumer grade appliances or devices. And if you're going to connect one of those devices like your home CD player to your Pro Gear, you're going to have to be concerned with that +4, -10 difference, because very often there are things that connect with RCA, assuming a -10 line level, but your Pro Gear will have that +4, so you have to be careful about that switch. There are simple interconnections or simple adapters to go from RCA to 1/4-inch, which are also quite useful and something you probably need to have access to in your studio setup. Now, there are a variety of other cables you're going to find in the home studio, things like MIDI cables, Toslink cables, SPDIF cables. You can Google these for more information. What I have covered here will be the most useful and will be used in the widest range of applications in a home studio. So plug them in and have fun in your setup. I hope this was clear, concise, and helpful. Thank you for watching. Sent from my iPad.
Hey, you'll notice also that here is another way to wrap your cables. You just do them in half, and then when you get there, they will never ever get hung up that way or tangled. All right, have fun. See you next time.